All right, we got an idea here. Let me just give me 1 second. Oh, I don't have to move. Never mind. 2 seconds. There we go. Just need like a little more light. All right. So we have the tornado in a bottle. This is an idea we've been working on this week, last few days. The elevator pitch for this one: we're launching Dynamic Collectibles, the next generation of kinetic art that replaces the static shadow box and shaky snow globe. We merge museum grade hot blown glass containers with patented magnetic spinner technology. This allows collectors to actively and silently generate a mesmerizing tornado like vortex using rare materials like volcanic sand, exotic shells, or galvanized metallic powders. We hit two premium markets with one core mechanism: the Minimalist Apex series for executive desks, and the Story Driven Explorer series, which uses authentic, certified sourced materials. By integrating data provenance via QR codes and offering deep customization on shape and contents, we sell not just an object, but an active experience. This ensures high margins, massive collectability, and a unique premium product line for both corporate gifting and sophisticated consumers. So, basically, the process of building a container: collectors can select one or more of the material options to add to the transparent container. After the contents are added, the container is closed and sealed, either welded shut or sealed via hot blown glass. Probably the latter option is the one we're going to go with. The spinner device attached to the bottom, top, and or sides of the container, somewhere around it to make it work, is a module equipped with magnets, which are attached to one, the materials inside the container, or two, magnets inside the container, which are used to help in a propel the materials in the container in a spiral pattern via friction induced upon contact between the magnets and the material inside. Or three, there's another option I'm going to get to a little bit later. That's probably the best option. When the magnetic spinner device is activated, there is a ball or puck somewhere or close to the container which spins around, causing the contents inside the container to swirl around in a tornado like pattern. A magnet can be placed inside the container if the contents inside are not naturally magnetic to help the material swirl around. If the materials inside of the container are already naturally magnetic or artificially magnetized somehow, the magnetic puck or ball can be placed on the outside of the container. Another option would be to introduce a magnetic fluid or solution, that's the one, that the other materials are submerged in, that assists in spinning the other contents inside the container when the... Oh, I didn't finish that sentence. Another option would be to introduce a magnetic fluid or solution that the other materials are submerged in that assists in spinning the other contents inside the container when the contents are non-magnetic or heavier. Okay. Consider galvanizing materials in order to prevent rusting via oxidation. Good point. Definitely something that we need to do. I think Gemini was mentioning shells. It just clarified on exactly which materials need to take that into consideration for. I'm sure there's other materials too. We'd have a whole range of materials, whole repertoire of materials. I don't know if I'm using that word right, but you get the gist. If you actually do know what the word means, you understand what I'm trying to say. Close enough. Shape and size options. We got different shapes: cones, cylinders, mason jars, pyramids, rectangular prisms, spheres, and spheroids. We could have little wobbly shapes or weird different shapes too. So that's fun. Well, with the tornado design, so we could have like just like a storm design where it's just like all chaotic and stuff, or we could have the tornado design that would require a very specific shape. Because like the physics of the fluid or materials inside moving in a perfectly spiral pattern would require more of a cylindrical shape or conical shape, possibly the cone. More of like a cylinder though. The heights can be ranging from short to tall. The width can range from skinny to wide. Weight can range from light to heavy. That's standard for most products that have I could probably cut that out, honestly. Material options, we'd have, these are just a few examples: sand, shells, volcanic rocks, sand or ash, sand dollars, snowflakes, or ice crystals, snow. Last version, must be temperature regulated and would require a cryogenic capsule or cryo chamber. Would be more expensive, probably one of our higher end items if we do end up creating it, which I think it should be an option. I think it'd be cool if it's, as long as it's not too costly. Might as well just offer it as an option. If people do buy it, we could produce it based on per order, so we don't actually have to just have them on hand. We can custom make them per order or to order. Where was I? Oh, the idea of dynamic collectibles that use magnetic power to create an ever-changing internal display is a huge step up from the traditional classic snow globe or shadow box. This design creatively merges art, physics, and personalization. Our market appeal or product strengths will have active engagement. The greatest strength is the shift from passive viewing to active interaction. Collectors want something they can do with their item. That's always fun. The magnetic spinner creates mesmerizing kinetic sculpture that can be restarted anytime. The tornado-like pattern. This descriptor implies powerful, unpredictable, and beautiful motion, which elevates the item from a simple toy to a sophisticated display piece. High customization. The variety of container shapes, the sphere, cone, or pyramid, and the sizes, short, tall, skinny, or wide, combined with diverse material options such as sand, shells, etc., offers immense personalization for the customer. This supports a high price point and a strong brand loyalty. Engineering for longevity. Galvanizing materials to prevent oxidation. Very important point here. This would show great foresight if it is considered or implemented during the development process, either for initial prototypes or for future modified prototypes. For a premium collectible, ensuring the internal components don't rust or degrade is crucial for maintaining long-term value and clarity. Engineering and design considerations. The magnetic spinner mechanism is the core of the idea and presents a few interesting challenges to refine. The spinner mechanism, friction versus fluid. There are several methods that can be used for generating the spin. Each version has trade-offs. The puck or ball inside the container. This could be used for cheaper, low-quality versions. Pros of this design: it is high friction, provides powerful spin, and is capable of moving larger and heavier, more dense materials more easily. Cons, however, the puck or ball itself might be distracting, or there could be abrasion over time. The movement of the puck or ball would wear down the inside of the transparent container, potentially clouding the material. That could be a problem. And we could also introduce warranties and just lifespans in the KPL that we're going to talk about down before that digital ledger. We'll go ahead and address different lifespans and provide warranties and stuff like that. So because we know the stuff like this, especially the cheaper ones, might degrade over time, but since it's so cheap, people could just buy a new one, or it might not be worth replacing. I don't know. We can figure that out. Not too big a deal. Well, big-ish deal, just not something we need to deal with right now. It's something we can consider as we go. All right, so our magnetic fluid or solution, this would be the better option. This could be used for more expensive or high-quality versions. Pros of this idea, the benefits would be it'd be very elegant, silent. It would operate silently, and it would minimize abrasion on the container walls. Downsides of this, or cons, would be that we would need material compatibility. The fluid must not chemically react with the materials, such as the sand or shells or the magnetic elements. It must have clarity, and it must remain perfectly transparent over years to maintain the effect. Recommendation. The ultimate recommendation is to focus on the magnetic fluid or solution submerged option. It's quieter, prevents abrasion damage, and provides a smoother, more sophisticated swirl effect. Uses a highly viscous or thick clear oil to slow the motion down after the spinner stops, extending the viewing time. For our sealing process, we're considering welding versus hot glass blowing. For the hot blown glass, this is the most premium and aesthetically pleasing option. It guarantees a flawless seal and minimizes any visual lines, enhancing the tornado effect. This is the best choice for our high end collectibles or Apex series. Welded models for plastic or acrylic. If we use a lightweight plastic container for a lower price point, welding is feasible, but the weld line will be visible, which detracts from the quality of the display. So, not as viable. Personalization and materials. To boost the collectability, consider adding a layer of narrative or value to the materials. For example, for source materials, instead of generic sand, offer black sand from Icelandic volcanic beaches or micro shells from the Costa Rican Pacific. The story behind the material increases the perceived value. For color and dynamics, introduced colored ferrofluid. That's one. Yes, the ferrofluid. That's one. Oh wait, no, I was thinking about that for the osmosis or the dynamic clothing. I was thinking about that for clothing. That's a totally separate idea. All right. I like how it introduced it here though too, because I freaking love ferrofluid. Ferrofluid's cool. I want it to be applied to more things. I think it's so freaking cool. I literally have a jar of ferrofluid somewhere. I don't know where it went. Somewhere. Ferrofluid. Introduce colored ferrofluid or magnetic solution to create contrast. For example, use a clear solution with highly contrasting metallic or fluorescent particles to make the swirling action visually pop. Dope. Prototyping and product placement. Once the idea is ready for prototyping, the next key step will be to strategically position the product in the market. Here, we'll begin to narrow down our focus from a broad general audience to appeal to a more specific target demographic. Product positioning. Product could be positioned as a premium executive desk toy with a focus on sleek, silent, modern design, or it could be marketed as a travel souvenir with a focus on materials from famous locations and the unique glass construction. So focus on the hot blown glass, the designers, the craftsmanship of that, and the origin of the contents inside. So two different things there for that one. Just want to delineate those two ideas. The core design principles for a premium collectible allow it to succeed as both an elegant desk accessory and a meaningful travel souvenir. The key is to segment the product line based on the complexity of the materials and the container while leveraging the incredible dynamic magnetic mechanism as the central selling point for all versions. Here's a proposed strategy for structuring the product to hit both the executive, elegant, and the souvenir collectible markets. This strategy would be to incorporate dual market positioning. The product should be branded as a premium kinetic sculpture with two distinct series running concurrently. The Apex series, or the executive and elegant market design. This series targets high-end offices, design stores, and corporate gifting, or serves as corporate gifting. The focus here is on minimalism, quality, and motion sophistication. For shapes, we would focus on the simplest and most elegant shapes, such as spheres, spheroids, and cylinders. Materials we would use for the Apex series would consist of highly aesthetic materials that create stunning motion, such as metallic powders, which would include galvanized iron microparticles or pure non-oxidizing non-oxidizing metals like copper filings in a high viscosity clear fluid. Monochromatic sand, we could offer or include as an option rare black or white sands, which includes no shells or distracting elements. There's one. For the snow or snowflakes, aka blizzard in a bottle, the design challenge. This one would present more design challenges. The snowflake itself, it would be compromised as soon as you start swirling. They're gonna bump into each other, break apart. So like you're not gonna have a perfect snowflake at all times unless you make it out of plastic or something, and that might just make it look cheaper or seem cheaper. So wouldn't want to make fake snowflakes and unless they're actual crystals or something, because that's pretty much the specialty of the snowflake, how fragile they are, and just think that's what makes it so valuable. Partly, plus it looks cool, feels cool. So just delve in quickly on this. It would present several design challenges. The snowflakes are highly unstable. They sublimate or turn directly into vapor, even below freezing. And then the magnetic motion itself generates friction and heat, which accelerates the melting. So issues. Container design, cryo chamber. It would require a cryo chamber, would be much more expensive to design, and we would have to sell it for a higher price point. The transparent container cannot be simple glass. It must be an insulated cryo chamber. Vacuum insulated walls. We would use a double walled container similar to a high-end thermos with the space between the walls evacuated to create a vacuum. This would drastically reduce heat transfer from the outside environment to the inside. We would focus here on a minimalist design. The cryo chamber will need to be thick to maintain insulation, so the final aesthetic will lean heavily towards the sleek, elegant Apex series design. And then I just plugged in here, like literally like 10 minutes ago, the lava lamp fluid, just another design having the same fluid, similar fluid, but also having it spin around. I don't know, just because fuck it, why not? So that's plugged in there. Mechanism. So the primary mechanism to get this thing to function, or one of the mechanisms we'd focus on, we would prioritize the silent magnetic fluid or solution method to eliminate noise and abrasion. So magnetic fluid or solution rather than the puck or the ball, probably the way to go. The activation button should be sleek, recessed, magnetic. The activation button should be a sleek, recessed magnetic touch point. Touch button. Cool. Yeah, those are always fun. Take up less space, more aesthetically appealing. For documentation, we would focus on the design and engineering. We'd include a booklet in the packaging detailing the physics of the magnetic vortex and the quality of the glass used. For price point, the Apex series would be our highest tier premium item. Now next for the Explorer series, this is more of a souvenir and this appeals to a souvenir and collectible market. This series targets travel enthusiasts, hobby collectors, and museum gift shops. The focus is on narrative, authenticity, and variety. Shapes we offer for the Explorer series, we could offer a wider range of shapes for this one. We could do pyramids, rectangular prisms, mason jars, etc. For materials, we'd probably place an emphasis on authenticity and story for the materials inside, at least, and then also for the hot blown glass. So for the Apex series or the Explorer series, we'd essentially have a story there too. Either the artist, the company that makes it, the style, whatever was put into it during the development process of different components that come together. For mixed contents, we'd offer genuine certified materials like sand grains, sand dollars, and shells sourced from specific name locations. For example, Galapagos, black sand, and volcanic ash. For galvanization, this is essential here as shells and sand dollars contain organic material that may degrade. So galvanize them, that's where we cover it with zinc, like a layer of zinc to prevent it from oxidizing and rusting. So that's always cool. For the mechanism, either the fluid or the internal magnetic puck or ball method. So for the Explorer series, we could degrade, I hate using that word. We could, it could be cheaper. Essentially, we could introduce the puck or the ball. Like, yeah, it creates its own problems where like over time it could eventually scratch the sides or cloud up the sides of the container or something. But again, these are cheaper designs, so I really don't like compromising quality or the integrity of anything. But just to make it more available, those specific versions, yeah, like say for like a museum gift shop, some cheap ass shit like that, like something. But like ideally, we'd focus on marketing the glass ones, the other, if we have the cryogenic chamber ones, the the separated walls with the vacuum seal inside to prevent heat transfer. We would focus on high quality. So we'd market high quality, but we would offer lower quality just to increase accessibility for particular demographics. There we go, right? Opportunities for all. Exclusivity for those who can afford it, but access to all kinds of access. All right, where were we? Documentation. Okay, so for the mechanism, we'd either focus. So we could use the fluid method. Ideally, use the fluid method or the internal magnetic puck or ball method, since the focus is more on narrative than pure elegance. So this could have like split off into sub models or sub variants, and where some are using the fluid, some are using the puck or the ball. For documentation, our certificate of authenticity for the geographic, we would include a certificate of authenticity for the geographical origin of the materials, plus any relevant engraved information on the stand, such as engraved information could be like a plaque. It could basically just like the name of the product, the material, mineral, gem, whatever. So whatever's in there, basically just create a description of it, or kind of like the ingredients, like put that on the back, have like a name for it, and then something else on the back. For the price point, this one would be to mid to high tier collectible item. Moving on to the digital ledger, this is an important one. So this would be linked up to the not Luminaria, the Leviathan mining app, because they're focused on minerals, mining, or terraformation and stuff. And so that's going to pertain to like geography, gemstones, and just basically stuff that we extract from the ground, mine, just geological affiliated information and things. So it's going to be linked up to the Leviathan. Keep on wanting to say Luminaria. I was working on Luminaria for such a long time. Leviathan app. The digital ledger acts as a permanent digital fingerprint for every single dynamic collectible sold. Also known as KPL, this is just an acronym created. Kinetic provenance ledger. So basically just sourcing. I'll dive into it. So basically what it is, this ledger is transparent like a blockchain, but managed privately for control and speed to host fascinating data about the product's provenance, physics, and digital extensions. The digital certificate of authenticity will ensure that the Explorer series pieces are genuinely rare and the Epic series pieces are genuinely high quality. For the unique ID or token ID, it is an immutable serialized identifier for that single physical object, and it confirms authenticity and prevents counterfeiting. The material source log will include GPS coordinates down to the square meter and date and time of material collection. For example, ash collected from Mount Fuji on 2024, October 21st at 4:36 p.m. This reinforces the story and rarity of the Explorer series. For the manufacturing log, we would include a date-sealed glass blower's ID or hot blown glass for the hot blown glass, and a final quality control check or grade and galvanization certification. This proves the premium quality and engineering standards of the Apex series. For cryo chamber status, displays of the certified temperature, setting, and the type of inert fluid used for the snowflake or snowstorm collectible. This provides critical operational data and warranty start date. Each unique collectible container would be verified for authenticity and registered on a digital platform. The information can be accessed by users via the Leviathan mining app at any time. The KPL would be accessible via the QR code via a simple QR code scan on the base of every collectible. Scanning QR code on the base of the Explorer series collectible instantly loads a digital ledger showing the exact GPS coordinates and the date and the material and the date the material inside was sourced, reinforcing the certificate of authenticity and the story. The app will also present users with fun facts, figures, interactive models, or mini games, as well as any other relevant information pertaining to their own product. The KPO, or Educational Hub, would include interactive 3D models, physics of motion, and material deep dives. For the interactive 3D model, it would be a digital, rotatable 3D model of the specific collectible shape, such as a pyramid, sphere, etc. Physics of motion of the materials inside. This would include an engaging video or animation exploring or explaining the magnetic field dynamics, how the external spinner creates the mesmerizing tornado-like pattern, and why the materials behave kinetically. Why the materials behave the way they do. A material deep dive. For a piece containing volcanic ash, the KPO could provide fun facts section on the chemical composition of ash, information of the volcanic eruption history of the source location. That'd be really cool. Or details on the galvanization process used to stabilize the material. So that would be pretty cool just for an educational opportunity. Plus, it's just something really cool to learn. So if people want to delve into that, they sure can. Engagement features or digital extensions include the personalized digital shelf. Users can claim their collectible on the KPL, linking it to their personal account. They can view a customized digital shelf displaying all the dynamic collectibles they own. The Vortex Gallery, or user-generated content. This section allows owners to upload videos or short videos of the collectible in motion. This would drive community and marketing. For interactive minigames, we could introduce small physics-based minigames that relate to the geometry of the piece. For example, using a slider to control the magnetic force on a digital representation of the collectible to achieve a certain pattern. And for exclusive content and offers. Bingo, this is a good one. Ending on a good note. Access to the KPL grants Access to the KPL grants owners exclusive early access to new material drops. For example, materials sourced from the upcoming 2026 Polar Expedition. Or like, say, if we're going to Mars and collecting a bunch of rocks, like we would include some of our containers would have Mars rocks, and so you could be on an exclusive like VIP pass, like God, what's it called? Like reservation list, like where you get first dibs on things that come back when you go explore a new place or new planet, new asteroid or something. We can bring those materials back. We can bring regolith back from the moon, and we could announce that we're having a mining trip or just an exploring trip and bringing back materials. And we could essentially have people on a list of first come or first reservation, first dibs on new materials extrapolated, and returned to Earth or to the buyer from wherever they're sourced. Yeah, that'd be really freaking cool. All right. So lastly, by clearly defining the Apex and Explorer series, we can effectively market the same core technology to two highly profitable customer segments. Bada bing, bada boom. We are done with this one for now. We'll come back to it. There's still a little bit more research I wanted to do, but definitely a cool idea. Didn't take an hour like the last time, so. I did start working on elevator pitches for the ideas though too, so I can probably post those on Insta, Facebook, or wherever, just so I don't have to do like hour-long videos explaining. So if people really want to watch it, really get to know it, kind of get in the nitty-gritty details of stuff, like, by all means, watch these videos. But for the most part, I'm just gonna be doing the elevator pitches on, like, say, Instagram or like mainstream video or social media. All right. That one's done for now. I gotta grab some breakfast. Let's get some fuel. And I got a meeting in literally 7 minutes. So, all right, that too. We had it just in time. Have an awesome day. We're gonna do so many things. All right, let's go.